Hello, welcome back. It's been a minute, right? And for the 644 of you who have been supportive of this channel so far, you'll notice a bit of a difference with my backdrop, but I'll address you guys in a minute. What I want to do with this video is I want to update you guys who've been following me for quite a while on what the changes are and what's going on. And I also want to talk to anybody who's new to this channel. So first I'm going to address the newcomers, and let you know what you can expect from this channel moving forward. Feel free to go and look at my past videos where I did some gear reviews, I did some adventure videos, all in the UK. I've talked to some pretty cool people about packing and how to best approach navigation and just be safe out in the mountains. So please go and look at my other videos, but there's going to be a bit of a change with the way that I produce these from now on. And some of the things that you can look forward to are conversations with ultra athletes who've broken records in the last couple of years, through hikers who are extremely accomplished, other mountain leaders and people in the outdoors industry that can bring us all some knowledge and some understanding of how we can approach that whole industry and that way of life, that way of business in a safe way for us as individuals, both financially, but also for the group that we're taking out onto the hill. I want to really dig deep into the realms of nutrition, training, psychology of ultra endurance events that are both organized events and events that we do off our own back, things like the Bob Graham round, the Steve Parr round, the Josh Naylor challenge. I really want to sort of dig deep into what the best approaches are for the individuals that I'm talking to, and hope that that will somehow help you guys, and well, help me mainly, but help you guys to learn how you can best approach your training and your planning for whatever it is, whatever your endurance goals, ultra endurance goals are, or running goals are, or hopefully connect with people who are just getting into it as well and looking for that inspiration or those nuggets of gold that help you to be more disciplined with your approach to just getting up and getting out and getting at it. I also want to address the 644 of you who have been so supportive. A few of you have actually reached out to me and you have asked where I am and you've offered me work, and I'm really humbled by that. And you've asked how I am, which is beautiful. And I haven't got back to you because I have either not received the message because I haven't been on social media, I wasn't on it for quite a while, or I've been just deeply focused on my own path. And I'm sorry if I haven't got back to you. I will get back to you. But what I want to say is thank you for your support, and I hope that I can repay you for being there and supporting me through this journey by providing some amazing content. I also feel like I should kind of let you guys, the 644 of you, know where I've been, what I've been doing. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. I don't want to bore you with my life story at the moment, but life took a left turn. Let's just say that. I was guiding, I was doing my thing. Summit and Beyond was going well, and then just life just switched up a bit, and I became like a full-time dad. And that meant that I couldn't be tripping off to the fells for 2 or 3 days. And it seemed like all the jobs that I ever had, youth work, guiding, the army back in the day, Christmas trees, selling Christmas trees. If you've followed me for a while, which you 644 have, you will know that like I used to go and sell Christmas trees. All these things had to stop because I had to focus more on my little girl, my daughter. And because of that, I wasn't able to go away as much. So I had to try and figure out a new direction in life, which meant getting a full-time job where I could work remotely from home, still within the travel industry, still within the outdoors industry, but something very different, a different challenge for me. And I realized that for me to work at this job and to do well at it, I needed to just really focus on it, and I needed to get into a new routine. I needed to rebuild my life up in a different way. And now I'm at a point where I feel I've got a lovely home. I feel really relaxed. I feel like I'm in a good place personally, and it's time to get back to the channel, and it's time to get back to figuring out how I'm going to make this creative endeavor work. And I finally realized that I was being very selfish. And I say that because I have been chatting to these people who are my friends, and we've been having these most amazing conversations about endurance, ultra endurance events, about hiking, like, and really pushing yourself and putting yourself out there into these conditions that are not favorable, traveling the world, chatting about the intricacies of relationships and how that affects our psychology when it comes to training in many ways. As in, if you try and create like a bubble around yourself, like put yourself on an island because you just want to train, you just want to hit your training goals, and you become hyper focused on that. In this kind of situation where actually I'm not, and my friends are not sponsored athletes. Yes, they might be involved with certain companies as ambassadors, and they might get free gear, but they're not sponsored. They don't get paid to do the craft that they're doing. So if you then section yourself off and you become an island, like how is it possible to reach your goals? Well, it becomes very, very difficult because you do need help. You do need support. You do need to be humble enough to accept help in. And then I start to chat. We're chatting about the events. I'm questioning these friends about how did you get through that? Like after you did that 120-mile run in sub 48 hours, how did you get through it? Because I'm thinking about myself here on my own in this little flat, like, and I'm thinking, like, what would I do? Like, how would I get through that? And it turns out that actually they have supportive people around and they hold their hand through it. And so then I start questioning more about, okay, so like, how does that look in a relationship? You've basically just self-harmed to the most brutal, in the most brutal way you possibly could. You've destroyed your own body, yet your partner is there to hold your hand after it. Like, how does that work? That's what intrigues me. And so when you're talking to an athlete about that, you kind of get the response of, I don't know, but I'm just grateful for it and I will never question it. So then what I like to do is talk to other friends who are also into the outdoors and understand ultra endurance feats. But we're more interested in the relationship side of things. So we talk around the intricacies of relationships and what it is that draws your partner to want to support you through that. And then also how you can approach these selfish, self-harming endeavors in life, like running an ultra marathon or cycling ultra distance or whatever it is, climbing up a mountain at altitude, like whatever it is that you wanting to do. How do you approach it in a way that allows space for your partner to be able to support you to do that? Because when you're in it, it's like you're tunnel visioned and you're just like, these are my goals. I just need to hit this goal. I just need to hit this amount of miles or this amount of time on feet this week with this amount of ascent. That's all I need to do. I'm getting up at 4 a.m. I'm getting up at 5 a.m. to go do my hill sprints. I'm eating like this, regardless of what you're doing. This is what I'm doing. How does that work in a relationship? So I think that's very important. So we're going to be talking around those subjects too. There will be like the usual gear conversations, the trail conversations. Hopefully we can start to have conversations around like wild camping in the UK, and we can have conversations around the different laws in the UK for hiking, but also the different laws in the UK for things like alcohol and drugs, and how that affects the way that we approach our training compared to how people maybe in the US and other countries approach their training in different cultures. Because it's very evident that we are set in our ways here in the UK, and we have a very traditional way of thinking about a lot of different things, and I kind of want to break those traditions a little bit and open up more discussion around the differences between, say, like the approach to hiking in the US to the approach to hiking in the UK, the approach to ultra running in the US, the approach to ultra running in the UK, where the similarities are, where the differences are. Summit and Beyond has always been about exploring what it is to be living in this world where we find connecting with nature, being out in nature helps us to be more centered in ourselves and better people, outwardly to other people. So it's all about reconnecting with nature. It always has been. And I have never seen Summit and Beyond as just a mountain guiding service. I have always seen Summit and Beyond as what's written on the website, really. So what's written on the website is that when you get to a summit, people see a summit, people like the National Three Peaks Challenge or the Yorkshire Three Peaks or whatever the challenge is, people see the summit as the goal. But actually the summit's just halfway, right? You've got to get back down into the valley. And also the summit is an area of desolate nothingness. It's just rocks the majority of the time. The higher the mountain, the less life there is there. There's a reason that we go into the death zone when you do something like Everest. Like, there's a reason that when you go to altitude, trees don't grow and there's no life. And so really what you're doing is just like the metaphor of, it's like a metaphor for life, when you actually reach success, when you actually succeed at that thing that goal or that aim that you've been striving for, it's just a moment in time along the journey, and it's after that success, you continue to the next thing. And if that success, that thing, that goal was all you focused on and you couldn't see beyond that, then you are then kind of stuck or in a rut or in a place where how do you develop from there? How do you grow from there? And so the way that I like to see mountains is that when you get to the summit, when you succeed, actually the beauty comes after that, because you then walk down into the valley where the life is. There's no water on a summit, but there's water in the valley. And where there's water, there's life. And where there's life, there's color. There's animals, there's new birth, there's all those beautiful things that we see and find magical and wondrous. The view from the summit might be amazing and a real prize, but it is the valley where the life is, where the magic is. And so that's what Summit and Beyond is about. We tend to think that climbing the mountain and succeeding the summit is the goal. I like to see it as the prize is actually descending back down into the valley where the life is, where the magic is. And then you can go back and you can feel accomplished because of the whole journey and not just summiting and getting back safely. You can see it as you started in the valley, you got to the summit, you went back into the valley, and now you've got this experience, this learning. And so I want to take that into the next chapter of what this whole thing is. As you can see, I've set myself up nicely with a nice little backdrop. I hope you like it. And I intend for this more comfortable, relaxed feeling to then also move into a space of being able to talk about relationships, being able to talk about, I've got a dog now. Like, if you've been following me on social media, the very little that I've been posting, you see I've got a dog, Mud. He's a rough collie. I think he's probably mixed Kelpie. He's full of energy. I've trained him. He's very well trained now. He's a rescue dog. And I want to talk about that. I want to get people on to this platform to talk to me about the wonders of having a dog. I want to get people onto the platform to talk about the wonders of having a relationship and what it's like to be in this land of dating apps and single fatherhood and single motherhood. And I just want to explore this and expand on it and try and build some understanding, because that's what understanding on a wider level, because that's what Summit and Beyond has always been about. If you've been out into the mountains with me on one of my guided walks, the conversation isn't about the mountains and map reading and gear like you would see on my YouTube channel. The conversation is actually around relationships, around the feeling what it is to be a human and what that human experience is, and why being out in nature is important for us as humans. And never, unless somebody books me to teach them navigation, the conversation always revolves around life and personal experience. And so I wanted to start to focus my mountain adventures more for me because of my personal life at the moment. And I wanted to still share the nuggets of gold, or open up and expand more on how we can still get out into nature and get that healthy hit that I believe we all need, of reconnecting with the mountains, with the environment, but do it through this realm of, or this platform of talking to people who know how to do it well. That's what you can expect from the new sort of setup and what I'm going to be doing. I've got some really cool people lined up to talk to. So I hope that you enjoy those moments in time, and I can bring you some real nuggets of gold. And I hope that the 644 of you that are currently here that have supported me all this way will stick around. If you don't like the sound of this, and you don't like the setup, and you don't like the fact that I'm not running up sharp edge or having my pack scrutinized by a very accomplished through hiker, or all the things like showing you like how to map read, if you teaching you how to read the weather. If you don't like this setup and you don't like what I'm saying, then feel free to leave. If this excites you and you want to stick around, share it with your friends, and let's build a bit more of a community vibe around it, and let's get some cool people on to talk to. If you're new to the channel, I will still be uploading adventure videos, but they're going to be quite different. I've got some plans in the summer, and those plans revolve around being a dad and taking my daughter on adventures. So if you are a dad or a mum and you are wanting some inspiration to take your child on an adventure, then this would be the place to be, because I will be sharing some ideas. Anyway, that's all I've got to say for this episode. I hope you like what you hear. If you don't, see you later. If you do, I will see you again in the next episode. Stay safe out there. Make sure you've got the right gear. Learn how to read a map. Learn how to use a compass. And smash your goals.